It's working.
I'm just going to adjust my framing while you're on there.
Yep.
Yep, that's right.
Good. That's 10 viewers.
Okay, thanks.
This is what he's getting.
Here.
Okay. Okay, let's go.
Are you getting crowd sound too?
Just crowd sound. Why can't I see this?
Try line.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thanks to you all for attending and also for those that are joining us via live stream. My name is Mike Sutherland, and I'm Peggy's son-in-law. I'm deeply humbled and privileged to be your Master of Ceremonies for the celebration of life for someone who obviously touched many lives and was simply so amazing. There are no words that fully encompass how truly special Peggy was, nor are there words to reflect the grief her family and many friends experience with her all too sudden passing. Every aspect of her life was a tribute to her character, her love story with her husband Frank of 50 years, her perseverance in growing up in a financially struggling household, but parlaying her career into achievement after achievement, success after success. Her care and devotion to family and friends, and her delight in hosting simply the most excellent parties and gatherings. Every detail immaculately planned and filled with love. It's impossible to encapsulate such a rich life of such an incredible person in words, and we will miss her every single day. Gina Ho, a dear lifelong friend of Peggy, had composed a reading and a prayer, but due to sudden illness, Gina was unable to be with us today. But in her stead, we're asking another dear and lifelong friend of ours and the family, Brian Bell, to lead us in that reading and prayer. Brian, please.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to share a reading written by Gina Ho, who could not be here today. I will read it as she wrote it. I guess you could say that over the past 25 years, I have been the in-house retired chaplain in our small group of women, the $25 Club. But until today, our get-togethers have consisted of sharing stories, sometimes tears, but always laughter as we partook in great cooking, a glass or two of wine, and lots of fun. So I thank you, Frank, for trusting in me to share a brief scripture reading of hope, followed by a prayer of thanks for having been privileged to have Peggy as our friend. Readings from John. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. I'm leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. Dear God, we thank you for the gift of Peggy's love and friendship. She touched our lives in many ways. We are grateful for her leadership and her leadership skills. She always spoke with the confidence and composure that many of us could only dream of. All she had to do was walk into a room, flash her beautiful and sometimes mischievous smile, and you knew that Peggy had things under control. Peggy had a gift that could make people feel included and important, and that I attribute to her compassionate and loving nature. Then there's the gift of Peggy and Frank's relationship of over 50 years. Together, they showed us that genuine love is just not for the storybooks. Through ups and downs, through thick and thin, their passion and compassion for each other, their families and friends shone through. God, today we ask you to bless all of us, but especially Frank and his family, that we all might be inspired with the same love and hope that welcomes home our dear friend, Peggy May. Until we meet again, from Gina Ho, Amen.
Next, we will call upon Donna Rickman to give a tribute to Peggy. Donna and Peggy have been friends since 1987. They are dog show partners, co-owning some of the best Chinese crested dogs in the world. Donna and Ben Wasserlichen have composed a tribute to Peggy. Donna, could you please come forward?
Thanks, Nick.
Dear bereaved family, friends, and colleagues of Peggy Ann May, my name is Ben Wasserlichen. With me, Donna McLeod. We are honored to have been asked to speak about our dear Peggy. On behalf of so many friends from across Canada, and many have made the trek from different provinces here today. On behalf of many within our community, a community passionately involved in the sport of purebred dogs. We are breeders, exhibitors, and judges with a great commitment in preserving canine breeds that grace our lives. To those of you, and it appears looking out here at 360 people, there are a great many here today not familiar with our sport, other than the funny cult classic motion picture Best in Show. You remember. We are all not as colorful and as strange as what you may have enjoyed in the characters in that movie. Many of us, and we pay tribute to Peggy May, very successful and serious in our own right. We go on to research, strive, work, exhibit, and share our concern for maintaining our chosen breeds. As Mike mentioned, for Peggy, it was the small Chinese crested dog, a very small dog, showy dog, originally from Central America, then named differently with history. Peggy, with me, and most others understood that in dogs, we know historically, they have always been with us, partners in life since the start of time. Now, allow me to look back to the 70s when I first met Donna in an aspect of the sport called junior handling, then later met Peggy in the 80s. Those two young gals showed their majestic Afghan hounds. I recall with a smile this lovely person, Peggy May. That's how I had pronounced it and still do. She had energy, drive, and a great smile to share with others. Her name, a great name, I believe, to the point, has a positive turn to it. I thought it was hyphenated. I asked her initially if she was an American. She laughed. You know, Mary Jane, Billy Rose, Bobby Sue, Peggy May. I was reminded of her short surname, and she welcomed me calling her Peggy May by my original hyphenated version for 30-odd years. Please keep in mind, in my culture, Ukrainian heritage, it's rare to have less than 9 syllables overall. Later in the 90s, Evelyn Mitchell and I came back to breeding and showing dogs, our chosen breed, Italian Greyhounds, again, very small breed, and gathered with others like Peggy and Donna. We were welcomed to Group 5, it's called. Group 5 is toys, to have fun, compete, get together, and we came to love our beautiful refreshments, cava, Spanish champagne, I may add. Would you please now make welcome to Donna McLeod.
Hi, everyone. So Peggy and I started showing and co-owning and co-breeding Chinese cresteds in the 90s. We met showing Afghans in 1987 and soon became fast friends. We showed both in Canada, the US, and often went to the American Afghan Hound Nationals. At one of these specialties, a friend of ours had a Chinese crested. We started actually touching the skin of the hairless. We were thinking this was pretty neat. But that started our fascination in the breed. And that time, the breed was not recognized in Canada. So we thought we'd start looking for one. It just so happened that there was a doctor moved to Manitoba, and he had Irish wolfhounds and cresteds. And he had a litter, of really nice ones. So Peggy and I looked at these, and we decided we could only afford one. So we picked a female because Peggy said, let's take her. She's pink, just like our houses. And that was Chloe. That was our first Chinese crested. Truth be told, Frank, I don't think we ever told you how much we paid for her. I don't think so either. Yeah.
If I may add to our dear Donna, we have seen, as a closest friend to Peggy, we have seen you as a sister, in fact. They say that not being biologically related to someone doesn't make you any less family. Being a real family is not in the DNA, it's in the heart, and we do know of Donna's heart. In our community, Donna's father, Judge George Taylor, referred to young Peggy as his other daughter. A wonderful and strong bond always existed even in the later years.
Peggy was a very kind, thoughtful, and caring person. She always came to the shows with such a positive attitude. She loved getting to see all the people at the shows, all our friends, and just visiting. That was the whole part of dog shows too. Peggy was a meticulous and wonderful groomer, and she often shared knowledge with fellow exhibitors. She always was willing to help others and give them a helping hand. She made time for everyone. Can't tell you how many mornings the alarm went off at 4 a.m. for us to start grooming. Those were tough mornings. She liked to shop at the booths at the shows. Me too. I said, oh, let's go look and see what's new or what we had to have. She always made going to shows so much fun. She was passionate about our dogs, whether competing at a show, having a litter, or going to class. She loved raising puppies. It brought a smile to her face. She was really knowledgeable about our breeds. And over the years, I would like to think that we contributed to the improvement in the breed. We also met and befriended so many wonderful people. Many of them are here today. Many of you are away, like Steve Kelly and Lou Reyes, who we've done some co-breeding and co-owning with. I'm sure they wish they were here as well. So many more of you we've gotten to know over the years. We've had some wonderful wins with the cresteds, but there are some special awards that really stand out, with Peggy really making all this happen. She was a wonderful handler. Leo ended up with 11 best in shows and 7 specialty best in shows. He's been a wonderful dog. He won the Canadian Chinese Crested National 4 times, and he won the last time this summer at 9 years of age. Just a wonderful dog. And then there was Mary. Something about Mary, Leo's daughter. Mary surpassed so many things for Peggy and I. She ended up winning the American National in 2022. That gave her an invitation to Westminster, which everybody that knows showing would love to go to Westminster. So that was a bucket trip for all of us, and Trish went with us. It was a wonderful time. Wonderful, yeah. At the American Chinese Crested Club, Peggy and I were surprised last year. They awarded us both the Sportsmanship Award, which was a shock to both of us. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from the American Chinese Crested Club, and the executive asked if they could change the Sportsmanship Award to the Peggy May Sportsmanship Award going forward. I think that's an absolutely wonderful tribute to her. Did I put the right spot?
If I may add, for our many friends and colleagues not involved in the sport, we want you to be completely included. When Donna refers to a national, it's either Canada, the US, possibly in other countries, and it would be the equivalent of a Grey Cup or a Stanley Cup in other sports. So that's the level of achievement. And in the case when they would compete in this specific little breed, there may be 200, 300 examples of that breed competing for that one Grey Cup, so to speak. So we share that with you. The people we surround ourselves will either raise or lower our standards. They either help us become the best version of ourselves or push us to become a lesser person. We become like our friends and colleagues. No man or woman becomes great on his or her own. The people around us, without a doubt, influence our potential. We all need people in our lives that will raise our standards and remind us of our essential purpose and challenge us to become our best version. Peggy Ann May was just that person who had the drive and ability to do that work. In our sport right now, I'll wear a different hat as judge. We see many dogs and assess them across North America and beyond. There are certain individuals, breeders, who have attained significant success selflessly, graciously. We say they are keepers of the breed, as Peggy May and Donna are. We congratulate you with all our gratitude and sincere admiration.
I'm okay. I will miss Peggy for so many reasons. To be able to reminisce about all the things we have accomplished, for the time spent with each other's family and friends, and for all that we had hoped to accomplish.
What we once enjoyed and deeply loved, we can never lose. For all those experiences and feelings become a part of us. Today I say to you and to myself, one day at a time, we will find happiness amidst the heartbreak, because we know that grief is a direct relationship to how much we loved. You do not move on after loss, but you must move with. You must shake hands with grief, welcome it in, for it lives with us now. Grief is love, and it will walk with us now, stay with us now, peacefully, if you let it. And on the days when your anger is high, we may remember why it came, remember why grief has come, and who it represents. Remember. Grief came to us, family, friends, because love came first. Love came first.
I want to get the glasses too. I will miss my friend that I shared so much in life with. We were sometimes called the Champagne Girls. God only knows we had a soft spot for that stuff. So in closing, we would like to have one last glass of champagne in honor of you, Peggy. Love you. To Peggy.
Peggy.
Thank you.
On behalf of Donna and Hal and Evelyn and myself and our families and our entire community, we extend to both families our deepest sympathies for your loss. Our prayers are with you. We will remember. She spread light with intention. So her memory is eternal, memory eternal, memory eternal. In God we trust to receive her well. And to you all, may God bless.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Donna. As Donna and Ben were saying, Peggy loved champagne, cava in particular. So over the course of the holiday season, when you may be raising a glass for yourselves, please give a thought to our dear friend, Peggy, and remember all the wonderful things she meant to each and every one of you. Okay, our next speaker is Deanna Talbot. Deanna, I'm sorry, you may have noticed there was a misprint in the program. Your last name is now Sutherland. You're an honorary member of the family. Deanna is here representing Southport Aerospace, and Deanna had worked with Peggy for many years at Southport. And they were not simply work colleagues, but Frank and Peggy both considered her a good friend. And Deanna has prepared a tribute, if Deanna can come forward. Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. I always wanted to be a member of Peggy's family, so a dream come true, I guess. Lipstick is on, check. Nails are done, check. Power suit is on, check. So I think in Peggy standards, I'm ready to do this. Hello, my name is Deanna Talbot, and it is my honor to be up here today representing the Southport team and sharing memories of Peggy, our leader. Peggy was the Chief Executive Officer at Southport for 13 years. During those years, she transformed the not-for-profit organization into a thriving business and truly put Southport on the map, both locally and nationally. When she walked into the office on her first day of work, the people that were working there at the time and are still working there today remember thinking that the CEO was going to be different. She brought enthusiasm, positivity, and a strong vision for the future. She carried these traits with her until her very final days, which was admirable. Some of her notable achievements from her successful career at Southport include renovating the Central Plains Recplex, which is the largest fitness facility in the region, building a daycare on site to support employees, bringing back the Manitoba Air Show that had 20,000 visitors to Southport this past year, and most of all, maintaining Royal Canadian Air Force flight training at Southport by finalizing the details of a 25-year contract. While all of these projects are remarkable, her most valued achievement is the difference she made in our lives. Last year, the staff at Southport created 4 values that embody our working culture and are posted all around our office. These values are perfectly reflective of the type of leader that Peggy was. The first value is that we care deeply about our community. Peggy encouraged people to volunteer in many ways within our community. She reminded us that we always have our Southport hat on and to be sure we are representing the company at all times. She was a leader in opening the doors of our site to flood victims in 2014 and Manitoba Hydro workers during the large power outage in 2019. She didn't think twice of the impact that would cause. She just did what was right and made sure these people were cared for. Leading by example, she was there serving breakfast to hydro workers at 7 a.m. and delivering gifts to flood victim guests at the Barker Hotel. Peggy inserted herself in the Portage La Prairie community by joining different boards, which I know every board that had her on it felt like they had a celebrity. She supported the local veterinarian, small businesses, and restaurants. I always laughed when people in the community would talk about her. They used both names. She was Peggy May, not just Peggy, which it sounds like that's a common trend. I guess that symbolizes the type of influence she had and the power she portrayed, but of course did not embellish. The second value is that we enable the success of others. If you know Peggy, you know she had a team. She was the captain of that team, and she empowered us all to do our best. And I truly mean this throughout our entire organization. It didn't matter your role at Southport. She wanted you to succeed, and she wasn't afraid to tell you how to achieve that. She gave oversight, but she also gave a lot of autonomy. Don't get me wrong, she liked to be involved in some small details, like the color of doors for our new residential units, or the type of wine that was served at the events, and where we bought our Christmas tree from. But she also pushed us past our limits and had trust in the work that we were to do. Almost everyone on our management team started off in a certain role and has been elevated into a new position since they started with Southport. And the longevity of staff has increased during her time, fostering retention through personal development. These examples are a testament to her dedication to our success. The third value is that we lead the way. Peggy was a lead by example type of person, and she took that to many different levels. One memory I have specifically was when we were transforming one of the hangars on site into an elegant dinner to host a tenant appreciation event. What I saw as a grease-stained, cluttered hangar, Peggy saw as a unique and fun setting for a dinner, and boy, was she right. When we were setting up, the summer marketing assistant at the time wasn't too keen on his other duties as assigned element of his job. And he said to me, I didn't realize I was hired to fold napkins. And well, I looked over at Peggy folding napkins at the table next to us, and I said, if the CEO is doing it, so can you. A few other examples of this lead by example approach were her taking personal time to serve dinner to veterans at the local Legion appreciation events, picking up garbage in the ditches of Southport, and then there was a time she drove the big white reefer truck back to Winnipeg after the air show in 2018. Just picture that, this elegant lady in her work suit driving that big truck down the highway. The final value is that we prioritize the well-being of our employees. Peggy was always curious to know what was happening in everyone's personal lives, and she would make sure there was a celebration for all the big milestones, like wedding showers or attending socials and celebrating work anniversaries. She was always there for the staff that were dealing with difficult times, such as a sick family member or the death of a loved one. She made sure they knew that they were loved and had the support they needed at work. Personally, I was so lucky to have Peggy as a friend, not just a boss. She was very good at navigating that relationship with me and many others. The night I got engaged, I called her to tell her the news, and her response was, "Yeah, I know, Colin already told me he was proposing, and I've already seen the ring." And then after the birth of my first two daughters, she was at my house just days later to meet them and check up on me. Unfortunately, after I had my third daughter, Ollie, this summer, she wasn't able to meet her right away due to her treatments and just keeping her away from the germs. During Peggy's final days, I was grateful to have gone and seen her, and I brought Ollie with me. The moment she saw Ollie, her beautiful blue eyes lit up, and this perfect smile shone across her face. I will forever cherish that moment, and I will forever cherish that friendship. Now, the success of Peggy wouldn't be possible without her deputy CEO, the first man, Mr. Mom, and her best friend, Frank. Behind every late night event or work trip Peggy attended, Frank was holding down the fort with his honey to-do list, babysitting, or should I say fathering the dogs, picking up odds and ends, and then going above and beyond attending Southport events where you could find him flipping pancakes and burgers and telling the best cop stories. Frank, we know how much Peggy loved you, and we idolize the marriage you have. Thanks for all that you have done for our Southport family. Now, as I wrap up, I want to reiterate the importance of legacy, the legacy that Peggy has left. The new administrative building will be complete in the new year, and it signifies the precision, high class, and grace that Peggy demonstrated in her leadership. Even though she was thinking about her retirement, she led the way in designing the building, knowing that she wasn't going to be able to enjoy it, making decisions for the betterment of the future of Southport and the people that will be able to enjoy it. In fact, she did this with all major projects near the end of her career, particularly with the next military contract she so badly wanted to have her signature on before she retired. This demonstration of her vision and outlook for the future will never be forgotten, as the building will be dedicated in her honor, officially named the Peggy May Legacy Center. So when you drive into the site and you see that beautiful kinetic wall shimmering in the sun, think of Peggy and the brightness she brought to us all. Thank you, Peggy, for being our mentor, our supporter, our leader, and most of all, thank you for being our friend. Your legacy will live on at Southport and within the people you touched for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. You did your honorary family status proud. Thank you so much. Speaking of taking pride in things, Frank wasn't just a homebody. He took great pride in being Peggy's arm candy at many, many social events. Our next tribute is by Peggy's sister, Trish Tainhouse. Peggy's maiden name and her sister's maiden name is Hossack, and you can see when you get to know Trish and Tracy where that genetic tree that gives such character, power, competence, and big-heartedness. Trish.
No backup singers, please. I'm Trish Chain. I was Peggy's older sister. We used to fight about that a lot when we go out and stand beside my sons and Peggy's nephew, Morgan and Brendan. This is the hardest script I've ever had to wordsmith, trying to capture everything my sister was and how much she meant to me, And not only me, but every family member she touched. We're so proud of her accomplishments in every job she took on, and a true role model for family, caring, giving, always with a smile and a solid positive attitude. Planning special events, intimate or large, was a true love of hers, and making sure that every little detail was taken care of. Home Sense was built for my sister. I remember my mom and dad bringing her home from the hospital, and that's when it all started. There have been a 5-year difference in age, but through it all, we became best friends. Of course, there were some sibling issues. With 5 kids in one bathroom, you had to expect that. It's a small property that we grew up on, and we had potato and corn roast in the back with bonfires and lots of family and friends over in our younger days. Hair rollers out of orange juice cans. My brother will remember that. French fries for lunches daily, as a single mom on a limited budget could afford. And creativity for us all started at a very young age. Peggy always stepped up whenever she saw a need. I remember her making a week's worth of individual meals for an elderly aunt, always going above and beyond, and her meals were excellent. And this is going to continue through, Frank. So you and Peggy were a team that just worked together flawlessly. When someone needed something extra, an extra pair of hands, or someone to watch over them, you two were there, setting up the perfect match. My sister Tracy and her hubby Scott, memories of dancing to Neil Diamond, Elvis, ABBA while we were doing dishes after a family gathering. Every day was a picnic planned by my sister. Lake life with family and friends was always a favorite. We started early in life with family getaways to Grand Beach, memories of pierogi stands, crokinole, ramoli, cottages covered in fish flies. Yes, fish flies. Later years, lake life continued, snowmobiling, cribbage games, New Year's Eve traveling between cabins with a progressive dinner at each stop along the way, friends at every cabin. September long weekends at Lee River, weekend full of planned games, barbecues, egg races, prizes for all the little ones, and the entire family would go out. It was just terrific. Boating, and of course, snacks. Everywhere my sister went, there was snacks. Her purse was always filled with snacks. 2 brides at Grand Beach, where I think both my sons remember being flown through the air. Pontoon trips to Pinawa, boat decked out with a side barbecue that Chody had dug out for Frank. So just in case we needed to have something to snack on, yes, we could do it there. And Peg-O-Ritas were a specialty drink, appropriately named. Dress-ups with my sister were always fun. Unicorns, dragons, Day of the Dead, Mad Hatter, and Alice. Remembering one special Santa Claus parade when we as a family flew into Winnipeg for Christmas, and Peggy had us all dressing up. The Winnipeg Airport float was walking to Burl Ives, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And we walked and we walked and we walked, and it was just one of her ways. She loved to participate in any activity like that. There's a 2,000-mile difference between us over the last 33 years. That really never made a difference. With my new home for me close to Toronto, Peggy's time at IMAX had her coming and going on a regular basis, so it was always a PJ party at my place. There's always unexpected treats, once again in her suitcase, from Winnipeg pierogies to Saskatoon from Portage la Prairie in later years. And she did love to shop, and I think everybody knows that. And she could always find a special piece of clothing or something for her Christmas tree on almost every visit. Many trips to Niagara with her and Frank, still dancing and picnicking our ways through adventures. Dog shows were another Toronto stopover, and lots of weekend trips to pockets of Ontario with her ever-loved Crescents. We did love traveling together. Our husbands became besties too. Paris, Napa, Sonoma, Ireland with our sister Tracy and her hubby Scott. Cancun with Chody, Mike, Quinn, Cabby. And good friends Schultz's and new friend Braze. Dog travels to New York for Westminster, Palm Springs for a massive dog show, and to catch up with Stephen Lou, perhaps even for the date shakes that Peggy loved so much. She put her heart and soul into her career as a mentor, built more than just solid work partners. They became close friends, as Deanna mentioned. She always boasted about her crews for every job. She just loved you guys. Her love of her family goes without saying, and the joy in watching her grandchildren grow and develop was always top of mind. Nieces and nephews looked to her as a role model, a powerhouse, and someone always with positive energy. She was my confidant, and she was there to share in celebrations and disappointments. Sorry, it's so hard to think of life without her, but she is in so many of my memories and all yours. When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. And that was my sister, a treasure to everyone. Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Trish. With the combined size of 520 pounds of solid muscle, when Trish comes to Winnipeg, she's safer than most heads of state. Next, I'd like to call upon someone very special to me. Whew. Through the years, I got to know Peggy as the Christmas Queen. When you go to her house or her cottage over Christmas, it was immaculately decorated, better than any movie scene you've ever seen. And while Peggy was the Christmas Queen, I had the great privilege of marrying the Christmas Princess. So, my lovely wife and Peggy's daughter, Jody.
Forgive me if I don't look up for a second or two. I want to start by thanking you all for coming. Whether you're here because of what my mom meant to you, or if you came for us, those whose hearts are shattered into 1,000 pieces, we thank you. So many of you have shown up for us in these last few weeks with your love, with your words, with food, with time, and we are grateful. So thank you. In this last year, I wondered if I would get the chance to honor my mom with a few words at her retirement, the well-earned retirement, the one I joked I would get to before her. In my worst nightmares, I did not imagine that this tribute would be without her crying humbly in front of me because she thought I overdid it, that she didn't deserve it all. So please humor me while I try my best to honor the woman who taught me, and most of us, everything that we do well. In the quiet moments, the best I have been able to come up with is that my mom was indescribable. She was the best of us all the time. My mom and dad fell in love at 14 years old. And they have spent 54 of the last 68 years together. And for 52 of those, they have been our parents. Children raising children. Their love story beat every odd. I didn't realize until I was much older. I can't even turn pages. I didn't realize until I was much older how hard that must have been. They were the cool parents. My friends loved them, and they were everywhere together. Peggy and Frank, always. My mom is a knockout, and she's always been a knockout.
It was early on that I began to wonder if anyone could ever measure up to her beauty, her brains, her work ethic, her commitment to us, and her desire to be better at everything she did. She was a trailblazer. If she told you you could do something, you could. And then you did. And she was the biggest cheerleader when you accomplished it. When I ran for student council, she had professional advertisements made up for me. And she helped me practice my speeches. And when I won, she was outside school taking pictures. She entered me in a pageant. And she had me taking lessons to walk the walk. And I didn't win, of course. But she bought every paper in town with my picture in it. Every promotion and milestone in my career found its way to social media with flowers and dinner to celebrate. And it wasn't just for me, it was for anyone in her circle. She naturally always knew how to lift us up. There are so many incredible qualities that describe my mom. In the past 2 weeks, I've seen so many posts online, in the paper, from different organizations with hundreds of comments that describe her positive impact on people and the community. Her kindness and smile to everyone on every occasion. She was generous to a fault, if that's possible. Her open door and desire to host occasions big and small were things she was renowned for. A dinner party or holiday at my parents' home were a sight to behold. From the food to the table to the signature cocktails or Scotch bar, it was always more than perfect. No one could measure up. A day on the boat with a crowd or just our family was always met with great food and a picture of something amazing. There's no theme here, by the way. She never forgot a thing, and she truly loved doing it all. I'm going to correct my husband here. My mom was the Christmas princess. She was my dad's Christmas princess. I just had to kick her over to Queen at some point so I could take part. My dad gave her that name when we were just kids. She loved the holidays, and the planning and care she took for every small part of the season was something to behold. She planned gifts all year long. She wanted your list, but she also wanted to get those she loved something meaningful and extravagant. With Dad as her professional unpaid gift wrapper, every Christmas was truly beautiful. Without her this year, we are going to have to take a pause and regroup and find her in the spirit. We will try. My mom was a warrior. From her teenage years carting the two of us on a bus to daycare and then to get to work on a bus again. For managing things when Dad worked shifts, for climbing a corporate ladder that was rickety and tall with many missing rungs, figuring it out as she went. She'll be mad at me for saying this. My mom started with a GED. She was bothered by that. But God, what she accomplished with her drive. She proved her worth at every turn, and she showed us all that it's truly who you are and how hard you work, not the paper or the letters behind your name. I do need to say, though, in true Peggy fashion, my mom was already very sick when she completed the ICD Rotman's Director's Education Program this spring. I begged her not to go. I said, don't go, just rest. But she went. She intended to be a part of many boards into retirement. She had no intention of letting cancer beat her. She knew something was wrong in March, and by May we knew it was dreadfully wrong. And she never got a break, not a single one. At every scan or appointment, the news was worse and the treatment tougher, and she continued with grace and mostly in private. There was no telling Mom to rest. Always a warrior. I want to take a small bit of time today to say a few things that she would want said. To my brother, she adored you, and she believes in you. Corey has been her knight these past few months. taking most of the night shifts, so Mom was never scared, never alone. No task incomplete. Having you close by was so comforting to her. Thank you for being you. Quinn and Kavanaugh. The greatest joy I have ever seen on my mama's face is to have the two of you close to her, hearing your stories, celebrating your successes, and bragging about you to anyone who would listen. Grandma loved you so much, enough that through every awful day in this last year that she endured, your presence and even just a conversation about you took it all away for that moment. Grandma will be your guardian angel, of that I am sure. My dad. I do not have to tell a single soul about their relationship. If you had the privilege of witnessing their love in person, you know there is, once again, no measuring up. I've never seen a day where they didn't touch or kiss, and it was gross as a kid, but now I just see it as beautiful. Two people who stuck with each other when things weren't always easy, when money was tight and we were brats. Got 54 years of happily ever after. Seeing the two of them work together to host their friends and family was almost like watching a choreographed dance. Mom's vision and Dad's execution of the perfect meal and event was a joy to witness. And so many of us were lucky enough to be gifted a day like that. For as long as I can remember, my dad has called my mom H for honey. It's always left me a bit in awe. Dad, you were everything to her. I can't tell you the number of times she used the phrase, "Your dad will look after that." And for the last 8 months, she didn't have to say it. You did it. You looked after her. Everything. You comforted her when she was scared. You carried her when her body failed. And you told her she was beautiful every day. Countless times I thought to myself, you are loving her in just the right way. And I probably didn't tell you enough. You have always been her soft place to land, the love of her life. And I'm so angry that you have been robbed of the next part of your plans. But I'm so grateful to have been able to bear witness to your love story. Thank you for being our rock, always. Mom, you are my guide, my mentor, and most of all, my best friend. I am lost without you, but because of you, I will find my way. What I cannot do with you, I will do for you. I love you, Mom.
Thanks, honey. I have to confess I'd have been completely uncomfortable all day if I wasn't corrected at least once by my wife, who is very smart, very powerful, and very competent in her own stead. Next, I'd like to call upon my brother-in-law, Corey, with a reading.
I'm going to do a reading of Psalm 23, and it's because I've been too angry to string words together. I can find it. The Lord is my shepherd. I have everything I need. He lets me rest in fields of green grass and leads me to quiet pools of fresh water. He gives me new strength. He guides me in the right paths as he promised. Even as I go through the deepest darkness, I will not be afraid. Lord, for you are with me. Your shepherd's rod and staff protect me. You prepare a banquet for me where my enemies can see me. You welcome me as an honored guest and fill my cup to the brim. I know that your goodness and love will be with me all my life. And your house will be my home as long as I live. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Next, we'll have another reading from my son, Kavanaugh.
Thank you all for coming. Wow, there's a lot of people here. My pops selected this passage, and it truly captures how he's feeling right now through these hard times, and I'm truly honored to read it on his behalf. Ernest Hemingway once said, "In our darkest moments, we don't need solutions or advice. What we yearn for is simply human connection, a quiet presence, a gentle touch. These small gestures are the anchors that hold us steady when life feels like too much. Please don't try to fix me, take on my pain, or push away my shadows. Just sit beside me as I work through my own inner storms. Be the steady hand I can reach for as I find my way. My pain is mine to carry, my battles mine to face, but your presence reminds me I'm not alone in this vast, sometimes frightening world. It's a quiet reminder that I am worthy of love, even when I feel broken. So in those dark hours, when I lose my way, will you just be here, not as a rescuer, but as a companion? Hold my hand until the dawn arrives, helping me remember my strength. Your silent support is the most precious gift you can give. It's a love that helps me remember who I am, even when I forgot." Thank you.
And now a presentation from my lovely daughter, Quinn.
Hello, everyone. I will try to do this with brevity, as I am much better at writing speeches than I am speaking them, and I don't think this script really does her justice. It's hard to forget a woman like my grandma, and only natural to remember her in many different ways. For me, the most vivid way in which I can still feel her is through a color, red. It's a cherry sort of shade, and it's bright and vibrant and fun, almost fiery. And in those characteristics alone, it reminds me of her. Conveniently, it's also the color of the roof of my grandparents' cottage, commonly known as the Salisbury House, to which we'd stop at on the boat on a sunny day. It's also the color of the pontoon, where we'd have delicious meals out on the water, made by her. She'd always save my brother and I a root beer in the cooler bag for whenever we'd hop on. It's the color of the Sea-Doo, the one I'd waved to her from while my pop-up whipped us from the dock. It's the color of the flowers in the planters, the pillows on the leather couch. Red is also the color of her race car, the suit she'd wear to dog shows, in her decor. It's in the color of our aprons at the yearly seafood boil, where I man the timer and pop-up and her would man the food. It's in the place settings at the table, where we'd go from dinner to dessert and then crosswords and old stories. And I tried to make every Mother's Day and birthday card that color so it could match everything if she put it on the fridge. It's in the love she gave everyone too. It was in the hi babies every time she saw me, and the frequent asking if I needed something to drink every 5 minutes while I was over. Red was in the way she entertained, made food with her whole soul, how she welcomed people, how she loved her family and friends, how you could tell she cared. My grandma meant the world to me. Sorry. She showed up to every one of my games that she could before I had moved. She watched every game virtually while she was sick, so I always felt I had someone to play for. I was always so excited to tell her about how school was going or how hockey was going, because I knew she'd always be so excited for me. She'd cheer me on in everything I did. So now, when something goes well in my life, I feel a little hollow because I can't tell her about it anymore. For me, life has lost a bit of color. I don't think I can look at Red the same anymore. But I suppose when you lose someone as amazing as my grandma, it's only natural to. And as broken as my heart is, I'm glad I can at least look upon the color with happy memories, because that's all she left in the lives of her family and friends. And I can be happy knowing that she's resting somewhere beautiful, watching over all of us with the same love that she always had. Thank you.
Finally, I'd like to call upon my friend, my father-in-law, Frank May.
Peggy would say, get your tie straight, stand up straight, don't embarrass me. There's rules about arm candy, by the way. If you're gonna be arm candy, stand up straight. Don't drink too much. Don't embarrass me. So those rules are out the door because I just did. So I had a whole speech and I had a whole long story about us. And a lot of very nice things have been said, so I'm not going to go there. And over these past few weeks, I've received many calls and many texts, emails with prayers and good thoughts and sympathies. And the sheer number of those messages is overwhelming. And I'm sorry for not responding to each and every one of them. Each of those messages has helped ease our pain just a little. The one that stood out, Wendy Zamet wrote that Peggy told her to buck up. I'm not telling the whole story, Wendy. Told her to buck up and put her big girl pants on. And Peggy's always inspired me to be the best man that I could be. So I will buck up and I will put on my big boy pants. It's absolutely factual that Peggy and I met in junior high school. She was the academic, athletic beauty. I was the rough around the edges boy from West Kelowna in the North End. Jeff Healy in his Angel Eyes song where he writes, "What's she doing with a clown like me is truly one of life's mysteries. And I'll tell you that she was the best thing that ever happened to me." Like you, I will miss Peggy's love that she shared with each of us. I will miss her courage. I will miss her dedication to me, to our lives. I'll miss her flair. I will miss her striving to be better each day. I will miss her creativity to set the perfect table. I will miss her mentorship, what it meant to me, and I know that each one of these misses will resonate with each one of you. Except for, I will miss her touch. I will miss her always. Thank you for being here today and helping miss her with me. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. We very much appreciate you being here, and we have a few announcements and special thanks to make. First, in terms of the inconvenient announcement, for parking, we apologize, but parking is automated here. And so parking, if you did park in the museum lot, you can pay for parking. There's a machine just inside, or on the way out, you can just swipe a card to get out of the parking lot itself. We're especially grateful to the Royal Canadian Aviation Museum of Western Canada for hosting this very special event. We're grateful to Ray and Jerry's for looking after the catering, and our family is inviting all of you to please join us on the second level for a reception following the service. There's an elevator just off to the side of the stairs for those with mobility problems. And a special thanks to Willa from Ray and Jerry's for all her help with the planning. Thank you as well to Southport Aerospace and Brianne for all the help. Philip Kwan from Canadian Event Productions for the audio, and for the live stream, we're grateful to Amy and James for helping share this event with all who couldn't attend in person. Family's also grateful to Brandy Johnson for the finishing touches on the tribute video you're about to see, and as well to Mona and Franca from Neil Bardell Funeral Home. Their compassion and attention to detail has been very important to us. We do have a very short video compilation that captures a number of very memorable moments throughout Peggy's life, and at the conclusion of the video, family will exit, and we very much welcome seeing all of you upstairs on the second level, and for those of you who wish, the video will continue on a loop for those who want to have a closer look. We again, on behalf of our entire family, my Christmas princess, there are no words, and so I won't even try. We all know what she meant and how much a hole she leaves with her sudden departure. But thank you for being here, helping each and every one of us grieve such a significant loss. Thank you again. And if we could have the video, please. Thank you.
Girl, you're looking fine tonight, and every guy has got you in his sight. What you're doing with a clown like me is surely one of life's little mysteries. So tonight, the stars above, how did I ever win your love? What did I do? What did I say to turn your angel eyes my way? Well, I'm the guy who never learned to dance, never even got 1 second glance across a crowded room was close enough. I could look, but I could never touch. So tonight, the stars.
I wish that heaven had visiting hours
so I could just show up and bring the news that she's getting older. And I wish that you'd met her. The things that you learned from me, I got them all from you. Can I just stay a while and we'll put all the world to rights? The little ones will grow and I'll still drink your favorite wine. And soon they're going to close, but I'll see you another day. So much has changed since you've been away. I wish that heaven had visiting hours, so I could just swing by and ask your advice. What would you do in my situation? I haven't a clue how I'd even raise them. What would you do? 'Cause you always do what's right. And we just took a while until my worries disappear. I'll tell you that I'm scared of turning out a failure. You'd say, remember that the answer's in the love that we create. So much has changed since you've been to say to you with my last breath. I'd confess the truth to you. You've never left my side, even when I fell behind. Thank you for the life you've given me. Thank you for sharing all your love and all your dreams. Thank you for every tear of happiness I've cried. Thank you for laying down beside me here tonight. When I close my eyes, I say a prayer for one more day with you. And when I wake, I one who pulls me through, who pulls me through the storm when I can't go on. Thank you for the life you've given me. Thank you for sharing all your love and all your dreams. Thank you for every tear of happiness I cry. Thank you for laying down beside me here tonight. You've never let me down. You've never let me down. It's like you don't know how.
There's 4 songs, but that's okay, thank you.